I'm not staying in Fort Walton Beach. That's not happening, okay? I am going to go to Jacksonville by the end of the summer. That's my plan. I'm going to plant roots there. It's a bigger town. It's got a lot of stuff. You know, it's a much better city for what I am doing right now.
Poor neck. Good morning, guys. Yeah, it rained quite a bit last night. The whole outer part of the tent is wet. It is 6 a.m. and it's actually light out, so we really need to pack up and get the heck out of Dodge, and that's what we're doing. Don't you hate it when you have to pee and the zipper gets stuck? I broke out the USB fan last night because it was hot. I didn't even have to get out my sleeping bag last night. I just rolled out my mat and my pillow and I was plenty fine. As you can see, I camped behind some building, but I should have been already up and out of here. There's the Bike Friday. Covered it up so it wouldn't get just rained on last night. Gosh, I think I jacked up my neck. I was like, it sucks getting old. It does. My body can't take it anymore. My body can't, it's almost like my body can't take sleeping on the ground anymore. It's like, oh. Well, we got to get this packed up. I mean, obviously the pop-up tent, it's really quick. You know, I get that folded up, but it's extremely wet. So we're going to have to dry this thing out. We got some other wet things we got to dry out, but yeah, we're going to pack this crap up and hit the road before anybody discovers we're back here. So probably should hurry up and stop yapping. So I'm gonna get this stuff backed up.
Okay guys, made it back to the storage unit. We gotta find a place to spread out the tent and dry it out. It is wetter than wet can be, but I don't want to get my other stuff wet, so I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Okay, I dropped my camping gear off at the storage unit. That's what I do every morning. I go and drop my camping gear off and I charge some devices. Now the cool thing about my storage unit is it does have power going into the storage unit. Now that's just for the light bulb. But I've rigged, well, I didn't rig, I bought an adapter where I could actually run an extension cord so that I can charge my devices, especially my cameras and my phone and things like that. And who is calling me? So I got power, and that's nice because obviously I can charge my devices and I don't have to go to the library and sit in the library for 3 or 4 hours. It's just really embarrassing for me at this library because one of the biggest problems I've been having lately is the fact that I've been really sleep deprived. So what ends up happening is I go to the library to charge my devices, and that's going to take a few hours. So what I do is I use the time to try to edit some videos. And I'm in this nice cool environment and I start getting really sleepy and I just, you know, I just start sawing logs. And that's embarrassing, man. It's really embarrassing. I have this problem with the sinus cavity, and it is really caused my breathing through my nose. You know, it used to be that when I slept, I breathed through my nose. I was like, allergies have been a problem, but I've always still been able to breathe through my nose, right? Well, this sinus cavity I had x-rayed about 5 or 6 years ago, and they said it was completely collapsed. So that means that I only have like one sinus cavity on one side that might be partially blocked sometimes, which means I cannot really breathe through my nose. So that makes me a mouth breather, especially at night, okay? The problem with breathing through your mouth is that you could start snoring. And I've had a problem with that. I'm working on trying to come up with a solution to that, because for stealth camping, it makes it really difficult to hide behind somewhere and get some sleep when you're going, you know, when you're snoring really loud. I can't see you, but I can hear you, you know, that type of deal. The doctor told me I need surgery on my sinus cavity. He said that, yeah, it's collapsed in. Was there some sort of injury? And I'm thinking back and I'm like, yeah, there was injury. It happened just after I was out of high school. I was hanging out with some people and we were walking down a strip mall or something, and some friggin' douchebag, big, you know that type, the Chad type of douchebag, started saying something about my ripped jeans, my chain, and my earrings and stuff, and he called me the F word, and I politely told him what he could go do with his sister. And he's like, "What did you say?" And I'm just continuing to walk. I'm not listening to him. And all of a sudden, I felt a hand on my shoulder, and as soon as I turned around, pow! I mean, I saw stars, little stars, and I fell to the ground, had blood all over my face. Not my finest moment. I came back to my apartment, and my roommate at the time, he's like, "What happened to you?" And I was like, "I got in a fight. I broke some guy's fist with my nose." And I remember pushing on it a little bit, and I felt a pop. So apparently it just snapped right back into place. And I was like, I guess, you know, you can still tell it's kind of crooked a little bit, but regardless, I never got it fixed. So yeah, that sinus cavity has been collapsed ever since. And ever since then, I've had this bad problem with snoring because I cannot breathe through my nose. I have to breathe through my mouth. I had to stop and get me another drink. Okay, enough embarrassing stories. I've got to get some stuff done today. What I'm going to do is go get a shower, because I probably smell like a Yeti. And then after that, I've got to go open up a new bank account, because apparently my bank isn't located down in this region, and I have no way to stop at an ATM or anything like that. So I've got to go open up another bank account. I got to do that today. I got to call the phone company and see if they'll lower my bill a little bit, because they're charging me an outrageous amount of money right now. Got quite a few other little things to do, but after that, then we're gonna go and try bicycle messengering or bicycle food delivery, whatever you want to call it. But we need to go out and start making some money, and I've got a couple other things I want to talk about. But yeah, I got to get cleaned up. That's the first order of business right now. All right, the gym was a bust. I can't wait for losing, man. Yeah, they're like, "Sorry, we're closing the gym because there's a problem and it needs to have some maintenance done, and we can't have anybody in the gym, so we're closing the gym." There's people in there exercising, but they're not allowing anybody else in because they're gonna close it. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't go to the bank looking the way I do and smelling the way I do. I mean, I use deodorants and stuff, so I probably don't smell as bad as I'm saying, but you know, to me, I feel like I'm dirty and gross. So yeah, I need to get a shower before I go visit banks and stuff like that. It's one of those things where life is always trying to throw a wrench in the gears of progress, you know what I mean? I do need to wash the bike Friday, so maybe we'll find a car wash and clean the bike up a little bit. This is like literally the third car wash that I've seen on this strip. And there are like none of them, and I do mean none of them, are manual car washes. They're all automatic drive-through car washes. I need to wash the bike. I was gonna go ahead and get the bike washing done while I'm here, obviously not being able to do anything.
Much later.
What a crappy day. I have not been able to get anything accomplished today. I ran all over town looking for a car wash so I can wash my bike. Have not been able to find one. Every car wash is automatic. You know, being on a bike, an automatic car wash might work. It would be a bath and a car wash at the same time.
but I don't think they'll let me do that. Regardless, that's very disappointing. I'm worried about my bikes now. This is not a place I'm staying in, I'll tell you that right now. But anyway, guys, I have been looking around. I went to a couple of banks to kind of scope out banks that would be down in Florida, at least all through Florida, and maybe some banks that are, you know, some normal banks, some banks that are located all over, not just regional banks, but I'm talking about nationwide chains. So I couldn't find any. I couldn't find any nationwide chains except for Wells Fargo. And that one I think was a credit union. So I'm like, they're all like Florida banks. And, you know, I guess that'll be good, but I didn't feel like going in and setting up a bank account because I was kind of, you know, looking pretty disheveled. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go in right yet. I wanna get a shower first. Then I went back to Whataburger, sat outside for a while, got online, applied for a bunch more jobs because that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to just get a job for right now and worry about everything else later. You see, that's one of the things I've decided to do is just get a job. I know I said I was gonna start my Patreon, and I am. I'm gonna start my Patreon. But I'm also gonna just assume that it's not gonna do very well initially. Maybe I can build it up into something, maybe not, I don't know. We'll see. But I can't take the chance, you know? And mainly it's because like right now I'm barely surviving, you know? It's like I've been working my butt off just to get by day to day. And making videos has been really, really hard. You know, I've been on the edge of just sleep deprivation. It has not been good, guys. Finding places to sleep has been difficult. And then getting the day-to-day stuff done is just, it's cumbersome. So what I've decided to do is go back to my original plan. My original plan was when I was still gonna stay up in the southern Indiana area, I was going to obviously work the summer, stay the summer, and leave at the end of summer and head down to Florida. I got the option to actually come down to Florida a lot sooner than expected. And that's because my brother got a wild stick up his butt and took a job here in Fort Walton Beach. He kept pressuring me to come with him. He wanted me to help him move, let's just be honest about it. He wanted me to help him move and help drive and stuff like that. So I said, okay, you know, I want to come down to Florida anyway. It's a free ride down, right? So I rented a U-Haul, we attached it to his truck, and I pulled it on down here. I drove the whole way. He's working up in Crestview, which is 27 miles north of Fort Walton Beach. I'm not living up in Crestview because it's just too far away, and it's very difficult to get down here, as you guys saw in that first video. And you might not have seen the whole picture, but it was all a bunch of ups and downs, hills, and very dangerous roads. I would have never came to a place like Fort Walton Beach. I told him not to. I told him, go to Jacksonville. In fact, I told him about Jacksonville. I said, that's where I'm going. Jacksonville is a much better place to live than Fort Walton Beach. Fort Walton Beach is a resort area. Everything in here is going to be expensive. All the land, all the properties, even rent. I mean, for frick's sake, I went to go look for a room to rent just to see what they were going for. The guy there wasn't many, and the ones that I did find wanted $800 or $900 for a crappy room in an old house. I was like, you can get bent. I'm not spending that. But I figured I'd come down here for a little bit, help my brother, and then head to Jacksonville, which is what I was planning on doing. So plans changed a little bit. I know a lot of people look at me and say, well, you're just crazy and chaotic and you went all off, half-cocked, whatever. That's not true, okay? I got an opportunity to come down here sooner. I took it. Yes, it wasn't well thought out. My brother never plans things out. I understand that. I understand that greatly, you know. But like I said, it was a free ride down here. Go ahead and get established. Spend the summer in Florida. I just wouldn't have chosen this area. I know these areas, and they're just not good areas to, you know, plant roots. It's just not. Oh, it looks like a lot of homeless people live in that building. They must be squatting or something. Yeah, so it wasn't a good idea. It wasn't. But like I said, it was a free ride down to Florida. It solved the problem of how I was going to get my stuff down to Florida, because that was going to be a problem. It's become quite evident to me that I'm not going to be able to get by on door dashing here. Now, if I ran from start to stop, like, I mean, I got up in the morning, I started dashing till evening when I go to sleep, then maybe I would make enough money to survive here. That's assuming I had good days. But it's not that busy. I mean, it's busy in spurts here. And the problem is that I'm gonna need a job. If I'm gonna be here for a couple months, I'm not staying in Fort Walton Beach. That's not happening, okay? I am going to go to Jacksonville by the end of the summer. That's my plan. I'm gonna plant roots there. It's a bigger town. It's got a lot of stuff, you know, it's a much better city for what I am doing right now. And that's where I'm going. In that time, if my Patreon does really well, then I'm gonna go on my bike tour. And after my bike tour, I'll settle back in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll have a home base. That's where I'll end up being. But if I don't get the funding, then I'm just gonna go to Jacksonville and start a life there and work. And they still have beaches, they have a city, they have more job opportunities, they have more housing opportunities, they have more there. But right now, I'm kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place. I'm stuck in this place. Now, I put a lot of applications online the last couple of days, and I've had tons of people calling me back. And so many of the jobs are just way out of the scope of what I can do as far as distance. A lot of jobs say they're in Fort Walton Beach, but they're really not. The closest one that called me back was about 13 miles north of here. And I can do that distance, but do I want to? No, I really don't. Not in the Florida humidity, okay? I interviewed with them already because I talked to them the other day. A bunch, or at least a handful of jobs call me back, but they don't pay anything. I mean, I've been thinking about just taking a crappy job here in Fort Walton just to have some money coming in, but I mean, gosh, man, some of these jobs are just, it's insulting what they pay. So yeah, I've spent the afternoon combing through job listings and applications or filling out applications and trying to see what I can do as far as, you know, employment is concerned. But here in Fort Walton Beach, I just don't see it happening. I think there's a lot of people looking for jobs and not enough jobs. That's my personal belief. I got offered a job in Tampa Bay, Florida, and I'm thinking about taking it. Tampa's a bigger city. It's got more amenities. There's more than one Planet Fitness. There's all kinds of stuff, you know? And I got offered a job, and I'm thinking about taking it, but they're not gonna offer me anything. And this is what he told me when I interviewed with him on the phone and over Zoom. He said, they're not gonna offer me anything until I come down there and meet with them face to face. So they scheduled me for this next Wednesday to come down there and see them. I don't want to spend the money to get transportation down there, if that makes sense. So the only other option would be to ride my bike. And I'm thinking about just touring the Emerald Coast and obviously going all the way down into the southern part of Florida and then meeting with those people. But that's a lot of wasted time. I mean, I really wouldn't be spending any money. I would just be spending what it takes to actually eat, and that's about it, I think, just eating. I'd have to figure out showers and things like that, but there will probably be Planet Fitnesses on the way that I can stop and take showers at, so. Yeah, I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed. I just got a call from my brother. He's in Fort Walton, and he wants to hook up and maybe have some dinner, so I'm probably gonna go drop this off at the storage unit, go have dinner with him, and then figure out what I'm doing for the rest of the night, and then go find my camp spot for the night, I guess. I don't know what he's doing or whatever, so we'll see what happens. But today's been a bust. It just has, and like I have not been able to get anything done at all, and that's just very, very disappointing. Let's just say. Ooh, it is like super late out right now. I need to get to the campsite and obviously get in bed. I might be able to get 3 or 4 hours of sleep tonight before I have to get up tomorrow, which is, it's not cool. This whole thing is not cool. Hanging out with my brother ended up, you know, pushing everything back, you know. I wanted to get out there much earlier and do my bicycle delivery. and I didn't get to do that today. I didn't get a shower today, so I hear that Planet Fitness is going to be open tomorrow, so that's good. I'm gonna be able to get a shower. I basically had to use some of those shower wipes that I had and wipe myself down. I changed my shirt and changed my underwear and stuff like that before I went out to dinner with my brother, you know, to try to make myself as clean as I possibly could. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get up to the area where I'm gonna camp, and I am going to set up camp and at least get a couple hours of sleep. Guys, if you liked the video, slap a like on it. If you have any comments or questions, leave it down in the comment and question section, and I'll do my best to answer them. Guys, take care of yourselves, and thank you for watching, and I will talk with you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.